Welcome, everyone. We always want to say thank you to our guests. Some people come often enough that they feel more like regular. I think Gerald's probably looking for retirement from the city of Clinton for all the city council meetings. I think Mike's trying to work his way behind him. So we appreciate everyone who comes. If you have anything, we'll have spots for you. We have Carol to voice our prayer, and then I think it's Ms. Smith's turn. So we'll let Phyllis lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Gracious God, we thank you for this day, for the gift of life you give to each one of us. We ask, O God, though, for rain. Our ponds and our lakes are drying up, and we need you to provide that for us. We pray for all those being affected by drought, not just in this community, but across our country. We ask tonight, O God, that you be with each person here, particularly those leaders of this community. We give you thanks for their commitment and diligence to their role, and we ask, O God, that you give to them guidance and wisdom as they discern the best course of action to take for the common good of Clinton. We pray all these things in Christ's name. Amen. Would you please join me in the pledge? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would open up with, I got an interesting email the other day, and I don't normally come to city council meetings and mention it, but if you haven't Googled, found the second verse, there is a Marine who sings the second verse of the Star Spangled Banner. And I know we all know it from grade school and high school, but I hadn't heard it. And if you'll play it, the under God we have in our pledge becomes a lot less of a problem. So I would tell you, go Google Marine sings a national anthem, and it will remind you how many times there's a tribute to our Lord in there. So we'll go ahead and open up the regular meeting of the Clinton City Council. How about we don't do that? How about we don't open up the regular meeting of the Clinton City Council? We'll go with the Airport Authority first and entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Marcy?
Yes.
Trustee Rodolph?
Yes.
Trustee Doolin?
Yes.
And Chairman?
Yes. Have an action item, consider acceptance of bid offer from Ward Petroleum Corporation for oil and gas lease. I know we're waiting on that, but from what I understand, from our side, if it comes back as we send it to them, we'll be happy with it. Steve?
Yeah, Council, we were approached. We actually sent this out for bid a few months back, got no bids on it. Ward Petroleum contacted us, Grady Stimmel, and I had Ryan as well, and we asked Don, with his expertise in these leases, to review it. He had some clauses that we made some recommendations on. So we actually would ask you for the recommendations, notice in the email conversation back and forth, if you'd approve it, then I can work with Ryan and as well as Don to wrap up a contract with these terms in it. But this is very good revenue for the airport that's badly needed.
Any questions or comments from anyone on the council?
One thing that I'm like to suggest, I think we need to approve it, but I approached it, we have mingled in two sections, section 6 and then section 7, which is right below section 6. Why don't we approve both of those with these attachments that I have suggested? And if he doesn't accept 7, it can hurt anything, but if he does accept it, we'll be in position to go ahead and take the money.
So any other, I would voice that and say, with Don, to rephrase it from my way of thinking, we'll go ahead and approve it based on the terms that we have in front of us, that the council, or that the council sees. The city manager has worked with the legal assistance both ways, and if they come back with what is in this, that will give me authority to go ahead and sign it. The council will have approved these terms. Is that what you're doing?
$700 an acre for a 3-year lease with an option for an additional 2 years, but they're paying them $700.
questions from council related to this?
So right now, we just have an offer from them, we don't really have an agreement.
We have a counter offer from us, and we're waiting their acceptance of that counter. If they, and that's a very legal way to put it.
And they've actually accepted,
Actually,
they have accepted.
They just haven't sent it
Just
to
for
us.
section 6.
Just for six, but they haven't mailed us the lease yet.
Okay.
And I proposed 7, and they haven't.
So I guess that's an offer from us. If it comes in with those terms, we will have approved their contract.
Because actually, we have more, about as many acres of minerals in 7 as we have in 6. And we have 241.33 acres in 6, and we have over 200 acres in 7.
So we appreciate the assistance from Don to facilitate that. And it's a very specialized, and I know everyone, all lawyers have experience in it, but Don has a lot of very specific experience in that particular field. So we appreciate the help he's providing. Any other questions or comments from council? How about any questions or comments from anyone in the audience related to this particular action item? Not seeing any, I'll entertain a motion. I'm going to go ahead and say to approve these items and give the mayor permission to sign them when they come in, if they are acceptable. Makes sense.
Also moved. Second.
Trustee Rudolph.
Yes.
Trustee Marcy.
Yes.
Trustee Smith. Yes. Trustee Hueblen.
Yes.
And Chairman.
Yes, and I would assume if they come back with some kind of a change, it'll go back to us. What we did won't have any.
Right.
So we will bounce back and go to city manager's report for the airport authority.
Council, just briefly, we had an event, well, and the mayor can speak to these there, an event at the airport regarding the drug task force, and it was a very good event, and also, this was last week, and our chief was there, and the mayor was there to attend, and we appreciate them hosting that at our facility. A lot of people came out, and we appreciate that. Also, our project's getting closer to starting. I received an email. We'll be having a pre-construction meeting here pretty quick regarding the aprons, and I'll be bringing an update as that starts, but that's very quickly. And I do not have an update from the Oklahoma Aeronautics on the other project, but just so you know, I'll bring that back to you. Because they will do all the bidding. They'll do everything in-house themselves. The state will, and they'll work through us on that. But that was just a couple quick things now for you.
I would say that I appreciate Gerald being out there, appreciate Mike Smith, Gerald Green with the Clinton Daily News, and Mike Smith. I think there was good coverage of what went on there, and if you ever get a chance to go to one of those, I would advise you to make time. I was kind of skeptical. I thought, oh great, I got to go out there, 8:30, and they handed me an M16 with a clip in it. I don't think there was one under the hammer, but I promptly turned it to the left and put it in the cradle of my arm and pointed it at 2 guys, and they were moving immediately. Now, so it was, got a picture, got to listen to some things, but what they do, we watched the battle with meth, and now the battle's changed from things you buy across the counter to things you wouldn't put in your body, and it's just wrecking people's lives. So I think the Oklahoma Bureau of Narcotics, I think they've done a great job. They've also given them something that I think is probably going to really expand their responsibility as far as people and what they're doing, and it's human trafficking. So I was totally impressed, and I don't say that lightly. They were a very impressive crew, and what they accomplished. They told us there would be an arrest, an action, and I noticed a couple of days ago in Oklahoma City they had 40-some people they collected, so I think they do great work. One of the gentlemen there was Diaz, Santos. William. I always do that. It's fun to see kids, and he's not a kid anymore. I was giving him a hard time. I said it was a long time ago when I used to throw him softballs, and he would hit them over fences, and we played softball together for a while. But it's neat to see somebody from Clinton come back with a crew like that. He's very successful. One of those link pins in what they do. So I just want to say good things about that, and thank our representatives from our press.
Lisa was out there as well.
Who was?
Lisa.
Oh, yeah. Well, Lisa, and who? Did you point it at anybody, though? That's the thing.
Got my picture
I
right
had
there.
a picture. They probably took the bullets out of the clip after I got my picture
In
taken.
front of the Hummer.
In front of the Hummer, yes, they have a Hummer that's been collected from something, so. And who else, who was with you?
Well, Tracy, our airport
I
manager.
knew Tracy was there, but was one of your daughters?
No,
Who was the other kid?
she is an employee at the airport.
I'm getting old. Okay, so it's not a kid, I thought it was a high school kid or something, so she was that old. It was a good program, and if you have a chance, take advantage of it. Any audience participation under the airport authority? Not seeing any, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the airport authority.
So moved.
Trustee Hulen?
Yes.
Trustee Marcy?
Yes.
Trustee Smith? Yes. Trustee Rudolph?
Yes.
And Chairman?
Yes, the head of the OBM, the gentleman who was talking, an accountant. Liked him from the get-go. Okay, open the regular meeting of the Clinton Industrial Authority. Open it up, entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second. Trustee Hulen?
Yes.
Trustee Smith? Yes. Trustee Marcy?
Yes.
Trustee Rudolph?
Yes.
And Chairman?
Yes. One of the more exciting things we've probably done in the time I've been on the council, I know it's different for everybody, but I think one of the neat things, the things that was a big change, our new fire station. Steve, you want to give us an overview of what we're looking at here?
Yeah, if you want to minimize this.
Yes.
And bring the budget. Council, I was hoping we'd get this to you before the agendas went out. Actually just wrapped it up today. You'll see on your sheet, and it's on the screen here, we've got a contract, which the contract's in front of you. This is exactly the same contract as we did with the police station, an AIA document that Ryan has reviewed. This has some value engineering in it, as well as the two alternates. This is what we recommend tonight. Our basic budget breakdown, based on a very conservative sales tax revenue, is 4.6, a little more, just shy of $4.7 million. What that would include, as you can see, the base and alternates, and that would be alternates, which would include the 6th bay, as well as the dry logo in the floor, which I think is a really neat thing. But they've also actually reduced that from the 5,500 down to 3,500. So that's going to be a reduced cost. They found a way to cut that already. And some value engineering. Value engineering, you can look at the contract, but that includes, reduced from LED lighting down to incandescent and some other things, and quite a few from carpet, rubber floor to carpet, and some different things. So really working, and me and Randy, we had a good conversation with the architect yesterday. So we've saved a lot of money, and we still feel there's more money to be saved. And we're looking at some brick and changing brick out, not color, but actually brand and some different things if it's approved by the architect that meets our spec. But at this point, we know that 3.4 is the price at this point with value engineering, the base, and the alternates. We know our land, legal, and asbestos removal and stuff was at $240,000. We initially had that estimated at $275,000. We know our A&E costs, architects and engineers, are $335,000. We reduced the FF&E, the furnishings, back to $100,000. And a lot of that's because being in the PD project, we've known where we were able to get some furniture through OSI and different things that have reduced costs, yet they've got great warranties and good quality furnishings. So we can reduce that down, 50,000 to 100,000. Reduce the contingency, we believe, down to 190,000. We know our debt service is at 500,000. That still leaves a gap about 146 plus. Chief is not going to need all his FF&E downstairs. We're going to use about $25,000 of that to put into the police, from the police to the fire project. I believe that we're going to finish with some contingency left downstairs. Like once I have that money, I can fill that gap, as well as, again, I think we're going to see some electrical changes, maybe some fixtures and some brick. So we'll save some money there. So we would recommend that we go with this contract, which includes the 6th bay and the alternate flooring sample, and we can cover that through capital improvement. I actually believe that we should see increased sales tax that should cover the future costs, any future revenues that come in from that sales tax to cover that. But if it would not, I still think it's a worthwhile investment of our capital improvement fund to do the 6th bay. So with that, I would recommend the contract that's in front of you of $3.4 million, $51,628 with mega contractors to begin this project, and we hope to bring back some more cost savings as we go forward. But this is exciting. We'd like to
Deborah, can I ask a question? Maybe you can pencil with this in your head for me. If we get the total we anticipate funding, are we, I know we had a great month, you know, and we've had good months. What level of funding, if you had to pick a number, 400, 450,000, 425, you got one in your head where we'd have to be just not working from the overall total on the 4%? Ballpark, not to be held to that later? Can you get us one? Would that be something you could?
I'm not quite following exactly what you want me to get to.
I guess what I'm wondering is with our sales the way they are, we know over the process of this budget, we are going to we're going to reap so much out of that fourth penny. So much of that percentage of that is for fire left over. If we were at 515 sales tax for the next 8 years, where would we be? In other words, what number below 515 down to 425, in other words, what would be a break even per month sales tax, where we would basically cover what we're anticipating? What are we projecting, I guess is there?
I'll have to get it for you. I don't
Okay.
have that
And
information.
I'm just looking for,
And we ran the numbers based on a very conservative.
It was.
A 4% increase every year.
So in other words-
Over 8 years. Now, that
Right.
includes, because we looked at the sales tax history, and over an 8-year period, it's much higher than 4%, but we did not want to predict above that.
Mhm.
And that would include high and lows. It could be, at this rate, we could see a 10% over, increase every year. Now, we expect an economy to possibly downturn. We prepare for that. Now, that number you're asking may just be, it's a tough one. I mean, we could have a tremendous amount of extra money for the fire project.
yeah, it's not
in over
worth
8 years.
as much as I was sitting trying to figure out, but when you talk about 8 years, it's not worth as much as it would be if it was 2 years. 2 years, it might mean something. 8 years, it really doesn't mean anything. So 4% increase, we talked about that.
Annual increase.
Over an 8-year period.
Which we believe, we collect $5.5 million in 8 years.
Okay, I can push the numbers on that then. Okay. Any questions, council?
My comment is that when we calculated these numbers for the election purposes, we were very conservative.
Very conservative.
Brutally conservative. It was
We were.
brutally.
Uncomfortable.
Yeah, I feel really good about it. I'm hoping that at the end, 8 years from now, when I read somewhere in the paper or hear it on the radio, they'll tell me that we dumped some extra money into our economic development fund. That would be exciting. Any other questions from council or comments? We've been through a road with this, so it's not our first time looking at it. We've all got experience with the information. Any questions or comments from anyone in the audience? I note that Wade's in the back, our recently retired chief for fire department. Wade, did you have any comments you wanted to make? You're more than welcome to.
I'm very excited about getting everything we're getting in. 6 Bay was very important, and Steve worked hard, and Randy, and to get that to that point, and I appreciate that, and I think that's, gives us a little room to expand for the future, so.
It's exciting. Any other questions or comments from anyone in the audience? Randy?
I'm just looking forward to it.
Yeah. I think that's probably ditto for a lot of firemen out there. So, if no others, I'll entertain a motion to approve this. If you would like not to, that's your option, but I'm going to put it in the form of approval of this particular, let me back down here, guys, make sure I get it worded right. It's a few dollars. I'm going to entertain a motion to approve the contract as recommended by Steve and staff to Mega Contractors for construction of the fire station.
I so moved. Second.
Trustee Rudolph?
Yes.
Trustee Marcy?
Yes.
Trustee Hulen?
Yes.
Trustee Smith? Yes. And Chairman?
Yes, and I would thank Steve and staff. I know everybody works on it, and all the way from trying to get the numbers that I request. So we appreciate it, all the work, Steve.
They've done a good.
It's exciting. I think we're getting a lot of bang for the buck. City Manager's report for the Industrial Authority.
Council, the only thing I would add to that is that we will have a groundbreaking. We'll coordinate that with you. And we didn't necessarily have anything downstairs, but we'll somewhat add those together with the fire station project, and we're very excited. But I will keep you informed. Probably once we get them on site and mobilized, we'll schedule something with you. Maybe when it's a little cooler outside. So, we'll do that, and I'll get with your schedules in the next few weeks.
Appreciate that. Anything else, Steve?
That's really it for industrial.
Any audience participation in the industrial authority? That would be a spot where if you had anything under this particular authority, you have the ability, and we welcome your comments. There'll be a spot later on for general comments of a general nature into the cities. Not seeing any, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the regular meeting of the industrial authority.
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Smith? Yes. Trustee Marcy?
Yes.
Trustee Rudolph?
Yes.
Trustee Hulen?
Yes.
And Chairman?
Yes. Open up the regular meeting of the Clinton City Council. Now we'll get to it and entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Councilman Marcy?
Yes.
Councilman Hulen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Smith? Yes. Councilman Rudolph?
Yes.
And Mayor?
Yes. Have some action items. First thing, consider renewal agreement with Clinton Summer Playground. Man, lots of kids involved in this. Steve, you want to give us an overview?
Council, this is a mirrored contract from last year, actually last few years that you've done. This provides, Summer Playground provides some services which are absolutely excellent, working with our Parks and Rec department. And we've actually piggybacked off their Summer Playground, which meets in the morning, to an afternoon program, continues on. So, and this would be funding of $8,000, which is you approved in the budget, and we recommend approval.
Any questions or comments from council? I think we all know it's a very worthwhile playground. Summer Playground is outstanding. You just can't tell the number of kids around town, and people say that's where they are this morning. So, any questions or comments from anyone in the audience? Not seeing any, we'll entertain a motion to approve the renewal agreement with Clinton Summer Playground.
So moved.
Second.
Councilwoman Smith?
Yes.
Councilman Marcy?
Yes.
Councilman Rudolph?
Yes.
Councilman Hulen?
Yes.
And Mayor?
Yes. Next action item is consider renewal agreement with Action Associates. And Steve, can you give us an overview here?
Council, again, these three items are very similar to what you've seen in the past, supporting Action Associates, what they provide to the community, which is a very good service. And budgeted this year was $16,000 you approved for, and this is the agreement in front of you. So we recommend approval.
And this is the one that follows along behind multi-county. We talked about it, a month ago? And I personally would like to see it at 20. I think these two organizations do a lot of things similar, and we tried to move that to where we move them in conjunction, and I'd like to move it to 20. Any comments or?
I'll just say, council, we do offer them, just so you know, we do some trash services and some other things we provide to them at no cost to help them with some of their services. So that is something we do provide them also on top of the $16,000. So if you want to consider that, probably doesn't equal up to $4,000, but we do try to help them in additional services.
And I won't belittle what multi-county does. I think they do an outstanding job. They cover a lot of bases, and I think it's the same way with Action Associates. And if you ever look at the number of hours they work, it's massive. I think the bang for the buck at Action Associates is outstanding also.
Didn't they receive 20 at one time?
They were tied together. They have been for several years. And of course, we had multi-counties that came in the night we approved that contract and requested the increase. As I said that night, I don't have a problem. I think what they both do, I wish we could give them both just tons of money. And I know as Steve has said before, you got to pick a point. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that are very worthy, and we only have so much budget, so you pick a point. But it's something we tied together because of the fact multi-county works with kids and different areas. Action Associates works with wives, and pretty much a battered wives situation, and children that come with the mothers. So I think they're both worthy. We just try to tie them together because of the fact they both could use as much money as we could get them. And if we can do something for them that doesn't cost us anything, I think that's outstanding. You know, I know our guys have to do certain things, but we tied them together just because we thought they were both valuable programs. And it makes it a little less, from a political standpoint, it makes it less of a decision as to which is more worthy. They would have been here, I'm sure. You know, 16 was kind of what we led them to believe, and That's what multi-county, they both received in a regular budget. It just changed because multi-county came to see us. Any other questions or comments by council? Any other questions or comments from the audience? Not seeing any, I'm going to entertain a motion. I'll voice it this way. If you guys don't like it, you're more than welcome to change it. But I will entertain a motion to renew the agreement with Action Associates and amend the amount to $20,000.
I'll make that motion. Second.
Councilman Rudolph?
Yes.
Councilman Marcy?
Yes.
Councilman Huglen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Smith? Yes. And Mayor?
Yes, and I appreciate that. I'm sure the Action Associates folks do too. Consider renewal agreement with AARP.
Well, council, this mirrors last year's agreement that we changed last year to provide them exactly with the funding they need for fuel. They used to actually come through us to get a gas card, and that was not appropriate. So we actually hand them over the funding. They provide the services, which are great services. AARP is a good service, and we would, $3,500, we would recommend approval.
Any questions or comments from the council? I know we have Jerry Cordes in the audience. I'll recognize her. And Jerry, if you have any comments, you're more than welcome to, you might have a political future.
Thanks, but no thanks on that. But we do appreciate all the council does. And I'd say that all of our drivers and everyone is volunteering work. It strictly goes for the expense.
I know I always read with interest or hear on the radio with interest what AARP is doing, where they're going. So it's a very, as Steve said, very worthwhile organization. Any other questions or comments from anyone in the audience? Not seeing any, I'll entertain a motion to approve and the renewal agreement with AARP.
Move to approve.
Second.
Councilman Rudolph?
Yes.
Councilman Huglen?
Yes.
Councilman Marcy?
Yes.
Councilwoman Smith? Yes. And Mayor?
Had a group in that same Thursday. I left the airport, went down to Educate America, I believe it was. Educate America is the Oklahoma group. They had some teachers from Tulsa and Oklahoma City, but they were from Detroit. It was just an amazing plethora of people. And they were here Thursday, had meetings. I think they ended up, did they ever end up down at the Frisco Center? Okay, they ended up at Eastside.
Yes.
And I know Phyllis was there for the Eastside deal at 2-something, and it was a great deal. One of the things that they were impressed with the citizens of Clinton, because it's such a unique facility. And the Eastside group, I know what they've got, what they're trying to do, Eastside Academy Inc., and it's just exciting. Steve?
Again, this is another worthwhile facility, as the mayor said. I'll echo that. And the agreement has not changed. It's $4,000. They are doing some great things inside the building. This will help them continue that, and staff would recommend approval. It is a budget item that you approved in this year's budget, so we recommend it.
I will say also, like Alan said, I did attend the Thursday, and they stayed actually later than what they had planned to. It was just amazing. They had some of the kids that came in, but they were just an amazing group of young people, and they were just so impressed with the multicultural, how Clinton is in our schools, and just could not believe the differences that we offer here, and yet our test scores are up, and our kids are doing so well, so they were really, really surprised. So I think they took it away and then they'll be back to Clinton again. So it's very, very positive, I think, for Clinton.
And those are young people from all kinds of walks of life that are going to teach in the inner city. I should have said inner city Tulsa and Oklahoma City. It's not the upper level. They're going to try to fight the battle at the front. So.
And that was one of the things that they saw, they said in Clinton, is just the diversity, not just the cultural diversity, but the economic, and yet our kids are doing so well. Just looking at the group of teachers that we've got here, it's just very, very positive for us, I felt like.
Any other comments by council? Any questions or comments by anyone in the audience? Not seeing any, I'll entertain a motion to approve the renewal agreement with Eastside Academy.
I'll move.
Second.
Councilman Marcy?
Yes.
Councilwoman Smith?
Yes.
Councilman Rudolph?
Yes.
Councilman Huglen?
Yes.
And Mayor?
Yes. And we'll move into the city manager's report for the city of Clinton.
Well, council, 2 weeks ago, our water usage was about over 1,700 gallons per minute from FOSS. and 300 gallons per minute from Clinton Lake. We asked and you granted and approved some water restrictions. We are now able to turn off Clinton Lake, reserve that water, and we are back down to average about 1,400 gallons a minute from Foss. We really appreciate the community's effort to understand and help us, appreciate the media outlets that are getting the word out. We have been educating the community, putting flyers, trying to get people to understand, and then we're doing some even things with our notification system. We are getting people to comply. We are in a very good condition at this point in time. We can manage our water situation. Our business and industry has an abundance of water to continue to not be affected. Our residents, we may not have the greenest yards in town for a while, but we can get through this as we continue to look for some wells and go that direction, and some other sources of water. So we really appreciate that. Just a quick update on that situation, which is now manageable. We're down nearly to our winter usage rate. So that's very good, and we appreciate the community working with us to do that. I know everybody had to come together to make that happen. And we appreciate that. So.
What about the status of drilling the new well or something?
Well, we continue that. I've got a well driller coming out to look at a spot we had witched, and we'll continue that effort. And that doesn't stop. We'll continue to let you know if we find water. And that is an ongoing thing. We had an area that did not have water. We had obviously our wells that were hard, and it's an ongoing process. But we will find water, and we will supplement our system, and we'll get through this. But right now, we had to have the community's help, and they were kind enough to work with us.
And I also think we appreciate staff. I know I had a couple of ladies that had some questions on the water bill that came back out, we read the meters. One of them had a leak, so just the staff even going the extra mile and doing so with a smile. You know, when she called, the staff greeted her with a smile, the guys that came out and rechecked things for them, they were very courteous, very kind, and I think that, our staff needs to be recommended for those things.
And I think we need to commend Steve, because
Yes.
the staff is a reflection of
That's
Steve.
right, that leadership.
And he needs to be commended for all the hard work he's done on the water issue.
I agree, so.
Well, the hard work's not done yet. We have to find the water stuff.
But, we've got citizens that got real concerns, and they know that they can call and their concerns are met, and, so that's very positive, I think.
And to be candid, I mean, we have some people that we know are violating, and we're continuing to educate those folks. And our goal is not to ticket them, but to get them to comply. But we may have to get we might have to give some tickets out. I hate to say that, but that's what we might have to do. But we will get more. And the reason I say that, because it needs to be fair for everybody. Those who are complying to the ordinance, and then there's some folks that are abusing it. We don't want them, just because we're in a good situation right now, we don't want those folks to continue to abuse it. So we're going to be out, still being out, letting people know, and we may have some folks that end up getting tickets that will and get fined. But it is what it is sometimes. But we do appreciate those folks who have worked with us, and we'll continue to listen. It's a tough thing. We're going through but we can manage this, and I think it's opened our eyes, and my staff is out doing their very best to help people and educate people. So we appreciate your support.
We've got to remember Steve's a public works
Yeah.
director also.
Nice, we'll forget that.
Well, I didn't ask that question, because I think
Do we
that's.
have an update on the public works director position?
I'm still that person. I've interviewed 3 different individuals that I think are very highly qualified, different, unique, and different areas. And I have not chosen one yet. And it may be one of them, it may not be. I've not made my mind up. I'm trying to find the right person that fits our community, and understands our needs, and could be a good help for a long period of time. So that's a tough, but it's, I will say that great supervisors in public works, a lot of veterans, and we can get through, they can manage through this for right now. And, as we know, projects are coming like this, the housing plat, which I hope to bring back to you here in a few weeks to really get that back to me. We're going to need that person on board. I can't continue to do that and do all these things, but we'll find somebody, but I don't have anybody chosen yet.
I would say thank you to the radio. I know when we run our reports, the radio is kind enough to do that, but I would say a special thank you to the Clinton Daily News. And I don't think I've done this in 9 years. I've said thank you, but I don't think I've said a special thank you. That left column, if you pick up any paper, you can't miss it. And I've had several people say they like that because, yeah, they heard it and they had other things, it was broached to them, but they could refer back to that and get it locked in their mind as to what they could do and what they couldn't do. So I would say a special thank you to Gerald and this Clinton Daily News. I think that running every day is great. Yeah, Rod, when you say Clinton Daily News, that's Rod and me.
Not echo that.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
I think that's maybe-
That's part of our effort to be able to get it out. And, you know, I know some people, we talked about, some people use computer and we have some access there, but anything additional, that's over and above. When you give the left side of the paper, that's a very important chunk of the newspaper, so we appreciate it. Thank you. Anything else, Steve?
That'll wrap it up tonight.
Any other questions from the council related to anything? Any questions or comments? It's your audience participation portion for anything that you might have a comment on in the city of Clinton. This would be your opportunity to bring that to the council. Any? Not seeing any, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the regular meeting of the Clinton City Council.
Councilwoman Smith? Yes. Councilman Marcy?
Yes.
Councilman Huglen?
Yes.
Councilman Rudolph?
Yes.
And Mayor?
Yes.